Something about the world ain't right. The darkness lives in plain sight. In the ether, adjust your eyes. There are those that have no clue. You give them hints, they just stare at you. Most have lived in Plato's cave, watching.
Welcome, guys. This is Joe Rosati from TruthStream, and I am about to present to you, I think it's really truly our first in-person interview, using multiple cameras, etc. I met an amazing guy named Victor Mueller up in Seattle at his home and talked to him about what he'd been up to for the last 4 years, 5 years really, during the whole COVID debacle. And we had a lot to talk about. So before that, I'm just going to give you guys a little. Some of you will be new here because I'm sure Victor will be sharing this. Basically, I'm just going to share just a little bit about how to find us, etc., online and all that jazz. So first of all, here is our Rumble channel, and if you go here. I just recently did a cover of Over the Rainbow. I used a lot of footage that wasn't really in the movie. It was like B-roll. Also, you can this is Rumble. So this is primarily where our main library is. So we have a metal sponsor named Matt Geiger. We've covered, the Q topic. A gentleman who wrote a book on that recently. There was a gentleman named Bradley B, and he has the Alcohol Freedom Process, and actually that is free for veterans, and it's a 2-month program, and it used to be, I think, close to $1,000. So lots of great information. He's doing an upgrade to AA, so that's something that is pretty interesting to see how that's going to unfold. And I've interviewed Kathy O'Brien, Dr. Juliet Engel, and Lynn Scott Hagerman. They were women who were part of the MK Ultra program, and that uses films and music on children, unfortunately, and we talked a lot about that. So yeah, you can dig into this. Benevolent AI. We talked a bit about AI. Our interview over here with Brad Olson, History, Alien Technology in Antarctica. But feel free to dig into our Rumble page. And if you want to see where all our social media is, underneath the videos, there is our link tree. And basically, all of our social media is right there, even our YouTube. So that's this one here. If you click that, there it is. So anyway, without further ado, I'm going to share this interview with Victor Mueller up at his home in the Alki area of Seattle, Washington. And there were some things that came up that I wasn't expecting, to be perfectly honest. And I found some clips to back up what Victor and I talked about. So, all right, here we go, folks. Up close and in person. Welcome to TruthStream, the in-home edition with Victor Mueller. Now, Victor Mueller is in the Seattle area, and I had the honor of meeting him a few weeks ago now. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And it's, I came to one of his events, and it's similar to the events that he's done from starting in 2020, yeah. That he had on Fridays. Mm-hmm. And it was a respite. It was a sanctuary for people that really had nowhere to go. And, I wasn't here for that, but many folks in the Seattle area looked to Victor as a place and his home as a place to be able to speak freely. And that we're starting to see through the BS narrative. So Victor, welcome to TruthStream, and thank you for inviting me into your home.
Totally. Yeah, it's good. It's good to be here. Yeah,
absolutely. Well, so let's start, we'll dig back into maybe who you were as a kid, because I think that's going to be great for people to learn. But when this whole COVID thing started happening, what was that like for you, and what led to these events that you had at your home?
In 2020, I had, I think it was like roughly February, March. I was down in Acapulco, Mexico for Acapulco.
Okay.
And Del Bigtree was down there, you know, a whole bunch of people, and we're all talking about what was going on.
Right.
And I called my mom and I told her, you know, this 2 weeks to slow the spread is total bullshit. This is going to go on a lot longer than 2 weeks.
Right.
And I tried to convince her. I've always tried to convince her of that. You know, all of us had either friends or family members or co-workers or whatever, bosses that thought differently and you know, totally believed in what mainstream media was telling them. And I just knew that it was BS. So I stayed down in Acapulco as long as I could till I had to come back. You know, down there they were even being a little bit tough too.
Right.
Where they would come out to the beaches with their machine guns, you know, military guys. Oh, you got to be off the beaches. You know, you can't be around. And we would just wait till they went off the beach and we'd all go back down to the beach. But it was, you know, there wasn't as many people around, but it was like paradise. So hanging out and going snorkeling and paddleboarding.
How long were you in Acapulco for, roughly?
Probably a couple of months, I think. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
What a great place to...
Totally. I think it's less expensive to actually go down there and
Right.
vacation down there, go to dentists or whatever, than it is to actually be up here renting this place and paying for the power bill and all the other bills and stuff.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So as this unfolded, and then eventually you came back to the Northwest, the Seattle area,
Yeah,
which
yeah.
I got to say, it was so wonderful to see the energy in your house a few weeks ago, and just the people being able to talk freely. What was that point where you just were like, I got to have a place for people?
I'll be totally candid and honest about my past. 20 coming up on 26 years ago, I got sober, you know, through AA.
Sure.
And AA is one of the things we say is it's, you know, we're like on the Titanic when it sunk, and we clung together as survivors. Also, when the earthquake happened here in Seattle, it's like everybody got friendly. Everybody was like, cool, you know, what happened to you? Where were you when this happened? So I knew from that environment how successful it was, AA, at bringing people together through a catastrophe of our lives or whatever, you know, hitting a bottom, that worked, and that people needed to be face to face and connect. That was so important because they wanted us locked in our houses and separated. And there's a after school special that talked about the hypnosis of the mind. I forgot what that exactly, the name of that was. Maybe I can find that later on. But mass psychosis.
Okay, right.
And it just gives me goosebumps thinking about their game plan for separating people in their houses alone and making them afraid of each other so that they could control people that way.
Right.
A killing of the mind. Yeah, mass psychosis, a killing of the mind. If anybody, you know, can check that out, that's just like, whoa, that's exactly what happened. So I knew that people needed to connect, and I said, you know, screw Bill Gates, University of Washington. I used to be proud that I went to the University of Washington and graduated from the University of Washington with a geography degree, but all that COVID
nonsense,
BS came out of the University of Washington and Bill Gates and stuff. And so people were super, super grateful to be able to come here and speak freely and be amongst other people that thought differently, because they were basically ostracized from their family members, their spouses, and jobs and things like that. So it was a haven. And I'm not saying that to brag in any way.
No, not at all.
I'm just totally grateful that I was able to have the opportunity, or, you know, or our creator's grace to be able to create a space that could be done. And there were other people that were doing stuff like that too. So,
sure.
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, I felt it. In fact, it was a catalyst for me to want to come up here and set up this gear and start doing, you know, more in-person type of interviews. But the sense of community. So what I noticed. what were the first events like, and how, like, is it normal to kind of have everybody talk and introduce themselves, or give a sense of what those events were like for people, and maybe what was said, and or how they unfolded, if you will, even at the start?
Well, a lot of AA meetings, usually one person's sharing and people are listening to them. And I knew that was powerful. And there were certain of those groups that we had here, gatherings. I called it at the time the Alki Gathering.
Right.
I didn't want to name it anything because
Sure.
I didn't want to say this is the Patriots meeting or this is the whatever, because then certain people, wouldn't feel connected.
They might not want to identify it as
Yeah.
a title or what
Yeah,
have you.
yeah. So those times when we went around and we shared people's experiences of what it was like in their families or their jobs, but so many things sprung out of this, like the March for Freedom. Victoria Palmer, she was one of the first people to go out on the overpasses and hold up signs that basically said COVID's a lie or whatever it was. We would go down under the West Seattle Bridge in the main 5-way intersection and hold up banners there, and people would honk and wave, and other people would flip us off and say, "You're gonna kill everybody." Oh,
Right.
And we would also have topics like off-grid living or how to stay healthy. I mean, so many good things came out of this, about ivermectin, chlorine dioxide,
Right.
all these good, helpful things. So it varied, and we'd have a potluck. People would bring food and stuff. So
Right.
yeah. Washington Civil Rights Council started out of here, and that helped defend the Boeing employees and keep their them from having the COVID vaccines being
Right.
mandated.
That's powerful.
Yeah, the kids in schools, to get the masks off of kids in schools, there was a parents and teachers coalition that got that to happen. That all sprung out of this group of people. So there may be people across the world that think that Seattle is the hub of COVID, Bill Gates, all this, and also there's a socialism communism thing, but
Right. The woke agenda.
yeah, the
All of it.
woke agenda. And there are people that think completely differently here. And that is actually a small, that woke agenda is a small minority that has the loudest mouthpiece of the mainstream media. So people think it's bigger than it really is.
Right.
But most people don't feel that way. And Washington, I saw a map of the blue areas versus the red areas, and the blue areas are the metropolitan areas. And golly, the election integrity. I mean, Semi Bird ran here, and I truly believe that he got more votes, but without the paper ballots and election integrity, I mean, if we really could do that, we really could find out if there was fraud.
Right.
And I don't know why that the woke agenda or the socialism or whatever, why, if that was such a great idea, then let us vote on it. Let us totally see, if people really would like to support that or not. Instead, they've got to have mail-in ballots.
Yep.
And all the crazy, and putting the hammer down, Ferguson, and raising the taxes and everything, now wanting to tax gold. And it's like, instead of cutting, Semi Bird, he would have been for cutting costs, kind of like Doge. It's like, why not go in and find, and they need to do that here in Washington, a Doge in Washington, and people are trying to do that. All these from the groups that sprung out of here, these groups of like-minded people have basically taken over the King County, Washington Republican Party, the GOP. I don't know if you knew that or not, but we now represent the people, these like-minded people. So for people to vote that way, it's important, I think, to go out and do that so that our voices are heard and our voices are
Right.
loud.
This is a
This-
true grassroots moment,
totally.
movement that started in
Totally.
your home.
Totally. Yeah, I mean,
That's incredible.
and I'm not, like I said, I'm not saying that to brag or
No,
anything. I'm
it's
just
just
saying
what happened.
I'm glad that it started here. I mean, I'm glad that it started, period, wherever it started.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I think that's what you'll notice in a lot of this community, whatever title you would have put on it, the We the People movement.
Yeah.
Even my friend Louis Herms is running for governor of California, and it'll be amazing to see what unfolds up here in Washington. Is that it's a community effort. It's not a lot of people aren't. Most people aren't in this for accolades.
Yeah.
Because we need each other. Just like what started in your home, we're starting to see a good infiltration of people coming here so they could maybe meet someone else, meet a tribe, and have the courage to go out and realize that someone has their back and they're not completely alone.
Yeah, totally. Because a lot of people think this way, yet they're in their homes alone thinking this way, whereas the media is telling them that they're wrong or they're crazy or, what's the matter with Make America Great Again? What's the matter with Make Seattle Great Again?
Yeah.
What's the matter with that? That's just, there's nothing the matter with that, but
Right.
the loud mainstream media is just creating division. And oh man, I envisioned this world being a different friggin' place when I was growing up.
Okay, which leads me to, and I wanted to say real quick, the Seattle mayor was just on, and she basically said, as far as the Somalian fraud for the daycare centers, she didn't even want to look into it. I mean, that says everything.
Yeah.
And I hope that some of the other reporters in the Northwest see what you and I are doing and can help get the message out there. I hope the Brandy Cruz, the Jonathan Show, the Ari Hoffman, Jason Rantz, and there's a few other big channels on X. But I think it is time for unity, and I think why I was so drawn to this is that sense of community in real time, and I didn't know that part about the folks that have met here that are going out and making a difference in the community and the voting. But let's go to your childhood. When you were a kid, how did you see the world? Because I think this is where we can. To me, the world never really made sense the way that it was. I always envisioned it much better than it was, and it didn't make sense to me why maybe these billionaires didn't do more for humanity. And now we're understanding that most of them were compromised, and how they got where they got was due to whatever reasons, that things that you and I probably would not want to have any part of. So what was your childhood like, and who were you as a kid?
I would say every once in a while when I'd have these groups there, I'd say raise your hand if you were a black sheep, and I would say 80+, 90+% of the people would raise their hand. I mean, I don't think we felt like we fit into the regular run of the mill. And I'm always been curious. I've always wanted to study. I always want to learn. And that's my entertainment. I don't have a TV here. I mean, I have a TV to watch movies on if I want, but you don't see a TV on the wall here. That's because I'm more studying and learning stuff. Definitely curious. Got good grades, but I almost felt like school was just a farce, meant to just trap us. It didn't felt like a fit in. I thought it would end up like the Jetsons in the future, meaning we'd be buzzing around in these little things, and our dog Jetson, and whatever, and the air would be clean, and the water would be clean, and we have all that technology to do that. But the powers that be, when I was growing up, that said I had to go this many math classes and this many English classes, and sit facing forward in a class of 30 students in our desks. That's not reality. I mean, to put kids in that
not the
environment.
ideal way to learn.
Yeah, especially the poor kids in during COVID, you know, and 6 feet apart and wearing masks, and that's just that was absolute insanity. So definitely not run of the mill. In fact, you know, I'm very curious. I've always studied stuff, and one of the things I've studied was about agriculture, agrarian culture, how it started way back when people said, oh, let's create a farm to grow rice or wheat, and let's make this farm bigger, and let's have a bunch of people work on it. And then, you know, the king would say, okay, we're going to have more of these. So it created an agricultural society that could control that society. And there are hunters and gatherers.
Right.
Hunters more go off on their own to go hunting, and they've got to be very skilled at what they do to survive, not only get what they need to eat. Whereas the agricultural society, you needed more people to, and that's why I think that most of society is that way. And that's why the people that are the hunters type person, those are a lot of people who have been called ADHD, because you got to keep your attention really focused on, like, you know, where's the danger, where's the prey, you know, so on. When do we need to get back, you know, before dark? How far are we along? We really have to critically think. But when it comes to the agricultural gathering part, that's more like, okay, we'll go out and till the field, you know, go behind the ox, you know, for X amount of feet, you know, I don't like weeding at all. I mean, some people like that. I'd rather give me the rototiller or something like that.
Right.
And I guess I'm saying this to explain who I am a little bit more. And I'm not knocking the gathering part or the hunting part or saying one is better than the other, because we really all need each other.
Yeah, of course.
And it isn't until we figure that out that they're trying to divide us. Yeah.
Yeah.
Did I answer your question?
Yeah, well, I think so. And I think the trying to divide us, I think as people are awakening to the government and the manipulation and the regulations and basically stealing us of our basic human rights, I think they're going to be surprised, because most people are good people.
Yeah.
And I think where maybe the liberal or the left, there's a phrase that it's to be brainwashed. It's harder to unbrainwash someone, right? Or there's a phrase, it's escaping me right now.
It's easier to believe a lie than to be convinced that you've been lied to.
Yes,
Yeah.
thank you,
Yeah.
thank you. I knew we'd figure it out. But so that's the thing. It's like they're probably going to have a hard time realizing the depth of the manipulation.
We've been lied to about everything.
So let's go into why have we been lied to about everything?
So
in your opinion?
9/11, I got a phone call. I was living with a wilderness rim up near North Bend, and the phone rang, and they said, you need to turn the TV on. And it was just a beautiful, clear bluebird sky fall day, you know, one of those crisp days. I turned it on, I saw what was going on. I went, that's absolute bullshit. That did not happen the way they're saying it happened.
You knew.
Because I'm a pilot wannabe. Student pilot. I've been, studying flying. I was a geography major, and we studied atmospheric science and all that in there. So I know how airplanes fly, and I know that it's hard enough for me to fly an airplane and land it on a runway, much less somebody from some other country getting in an airliner they've never flown and aiming that at a fucking building, excuse my language, and hitting the building.
Right.
I knew right away that was bullshit. Just like the COVID thing was bullshit.
Right.
And we've truly have been lied to about everything.
Right.
And I could go even further, but
I
might scare some of your...
No, I mean, we go pretty deep on the show, but why the lies?
Nuclear weapons may be a hoax.
Okay. Well, I have seen something they were talking about on Joe Rogan, and they're like, well, how did the camera survive?
Basically, the U.S. military was basically faking these bomb tests to freak out the Russians.
How did they fake it?
They just did, yeah, exactly.
This is it?
Well, so there's a, Okay, so here's a question, right? So what happened? Okay, so this is great. Okay, you'll love this. So what happened to the camera?
You son of a bitch. You son of a bitch. What happened
How
to
is
the
that
camera?
happening yet the camera's like totally stable and fine?
Oh my god.
And by the way, and the film is fine.
Oh my god.
This looks like how you shoot.
And that,
a
well,
movie
by the way,
miniature.
okay, we'll do
Like,
this one. We'll do the loop one more time here.
Oh, it
okay.
just showed
So
up.
wait a minute. First
It
of all,
wasn't there.
First of all, where'd the car
No
come
car.
from?
No car.
Second is, does it really look like a
Car.
real, does that look like a real car?
That's insane. What?
Right. So like,
The fucking car. Wow.
It was
Yeah.
one-
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's like landing on the moon. And I'm sorry, people, if you think we landed on the moon, but there's enough information now that shows that we probably didn't land on the moon. I mean,
Right.
even the astronauts are saying that. And the same type of filming
yeah.
for the moon landing happened when they were filming these atomic bomb tests and stuff.
Right. Thanks for pointing that out. No, that is interesting. And even Buzz Aldrin has been saying, well, we didn't go. There's a little girl asked him a question.
Why has nobody been to the moon in such a long time?
That's not an 8-year-old's question. That's my question. I want to know, but I think I know. Because we didn't go there, and that's the way it happened. And if it didn't happen, it's nice to know why it didn't happen. So in the future, if we want to keep doing something, we need to know why something stopped in the past that we wanted to keep it going.
But why the lies? Why have we been lied to so much? Like, what's the reason? Some people may not know. So, in your opinion, what's the reason we've been lied to so much?
I mean, the CIA is quoted by saying, when everything that people believe is a lie, we'll know we have won.
Right.
It's a great way to control people.
Right.
I mean, let's say atomic weapons are real, right?
Sure.
It's a great tool to scare the shit out of people. You're going to hide under your desk when the alarm goes off. What good is hiding under your desks if an atomic bomb is going off, right? It's just meant to scare the shit out of people.
Right.
Also to scare us away from atomic energy. Because if atomic weapons are as bad and dangerous and, the earth is going to be turned to glass and we're all going to be dead, it's like, well, we better not mess with atomic and nuclear energy. And atomic and nuclear energy is the cleanest, safest energy that's ever been utilized on this earth, meaning there's less people that have been harmed by that energy than any other place. There's people in Chernobyl that are still living in that town today. They're in Fukushima. The Pacific Northwest is going to be destroyed and all the salmon are going to be destroyed. Because,
I remember that.
Yeah. They say that if you take all of the atomic waste that's been generated and you put it on a football field, that it wouldn't even fill up the first 10-yard line.
Wow.
And now
I've
they
not
have the
heard
capability. Now they have the capability of reburning that. So one of the things is like, let's tell everybody that's nuclear waste and we got to bury it. And once they clot shot people all up and they're all gone, then they're going to probably bring out the nuclear waste that they had and repower it. Once I think they don't want the human population to become too great that they can't control them. So the funny thing is if they're doing things like, the vaccines and all that, they're killing off the people that would support them, which is interesting. And, if people are listening, I think it's crazy that I think vaccines are bad. It's like, well, try to do a little bit of research. Read The Moth and the Iron Lung. That's about polio. That's really a really good one. So scare us away from atomic energy. Scare us away from the things that are really going to make a difference. Scare us away from each other. Scare us away from everything. Fear, the sheep. The sheepdog, there's one sheepdog and 300 sheep, yet one sheepdog runs the whole flock.
Right. And if you keep people scared and you keep them in line, then, just like a lot of people, they're probably starting to learn about some of these topics. Mm-hmm. But if your property taxes go up, and you need both people, the husband and wife, in the house working, and no one really has the time because they're tired to research any of this stuff, which that's what their intention was, to look outside the narrative. Then that way you can control them, keep the money coming in, keep them taxed, keep them from questioning things, and then, you know, however you want to control them, from learning what humans are truly capable of.
You know about Maslow's hierarchy of needs?
Yeah.
So Maslow's hierarchy of needs, and I wish we had that in front of us right now, but
I could put it up.
okay. At the very bottom is breathing, sleeping, going to the bathroom, surviving. The very, very, very bottom. And then above that is like having, you know, security, like a roof over your head,
Right.
you know,
Safety.
your warm safety
Yeah.
things. We're kept, because of the fear, we're kept at that level and below, so that we're trying
Yeah.
to feel safe. We're
An
trying
anxious
to
state.
feel comfortable.
Yeah.
Oh no, am I going to be able to keep the heat on? Oh no, my SNAP benefits have been taken away. Oh no, what am I going to do? Whether it's real fear or perceived fear, our bodies react the same way. So,
Like watching a horror film.
yeah, totally.
It's really not good.
We are watching a horror film.
Right.
Yeah. So if I'm out in the woods,
We were talking about the scary movies, you know, what happens to people with fear. It is whether it's
Real fear.
real
perceived
fear, perceived fear. Exactly. So I think we were
I
going
was
to
going to talk about, like, let's say I'm out in the woods and I'm camping.
Right.
And it's getting dark and I am in a tent and I hear loud noises like a bear rustling through the woods.
Right.
And I see it and it's tearing towards me. That is real fear.
Absolutely.
I better do something about it, right? For my survival.
Yeah.
Perceived fear is me at a supermarket Safeway, let's say, and I'm walking along and I'm freaking out thinking about, like, oh my gosh, if I go camping, you know, the bear may get me, you know.
What do I need to buy?
Oh gosh, should I buy?
Do I need bear spray?
Yeah. You know, anything like that. That's perceived fear.
Right.
The powers that be have a very good understanding of this and how to run people. That's why Cosmopolitan magazine says you need this kind of lipstick or you're not going to be able to marry a man, or you need this kind of diet,
Right.
or GQ saying you need this kind of suit, or the media saying, you know, gosh, they're going to take away your SNAP benefits unless you vote a certain way.
Right.
That's all perceived fear, and they're running it. And we were talking about Maslow's hierarchy of needs. In our human body, it's a little bit different. It's like a breaker panel in your house. So breaker panel in your house, you got one big switch on the top that turns them all off. In the human body, there is the breaker panels like this, but the bottom one shuts the bottom one off.
Mm-hmm.
The one above that shuts both of them off. The one above that shuts 3 of them off. So whatever I believe we're doing to survive or procreate releases chemicals and endorphins in our body that says either good job or bad job. These are our emotions. There are our alarm bells that are telling us we're doing the right thing or we're doing the wrong thing. Yeah, I help a child cross the road. I get a good feeling, right? I lie to somebody, I get a bad feeling, unless I'm totally narcissistic or I've been, what is that? What are they? Psychological profiling, MK Ultra or
Right.
whatever. Yeah.
Right.
So we have this hierarchy of needs, and there are survival mechanisms. If I am drowning in the water, I am not going to be worried about sleeping. I'm not going to be worried about eating.
Right.
I'm not going to be worried about the hot chick, right? However, if there's a hot, attractive girl and I'm interested in talking to her or meeting her or whatever, I'm not really going to be hungry. I'm not going to be tired. If I'm hungry, I'm not going to be able to sleep until I eat, and then I feel great. the powers that be understand this about humans,
How we work.
and
Yeah.
that's giving us empty calorie food that's never going to fill us up, always keeping us hungry, wanting more, 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 more. Wow.
And
It's-
poisoning our food. Like
yeah,
the
yeah.
fact I saw something in the last half year of the Fruit Loops in Canada were completely different than the Fruit Loops in the US. I mean, that should make people think, why? What's at play there?
The food pyramid is upside down. We know that now.
I think it was just switched around with RFK.
I wouldn't be. I'm so glad that he's doing a great job, and maybe he didn't get to be president, but I think he's in exactly the position where he's happy and he's going to be making the biggest difference in the world.
Right. He can focus on what he really wants.
He wanted to help the kids out in the childhood vaccines and stuff. I believe I was vaccine injured when I was a kid and had a severe kidney ailment that nearly killed me, and I was in Children's Hospital, and my parents said I used to bang my head on the wall.
Oh,
and
wow.
I read a article later on that I don't know if it was Judy Mikovits or who, but it was talking about kidney problems, kidney dialysis and stuff like that vaccine injured people had. And they said one of the symptoms of vaccine injuries is kids banging their head on the floor or on the wall because their heads hurt so bad. The pain in their head, that's encephalitis, swelling of the brain.
Right.
Yeah. And that, I mean, God, I feel so sorry for the autistic kids these days. I mean, it just gives me goosebumps how fucked over they are because of those stupid fucking vaccines.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's been really, it's hard to talk about this stuff when, like, I even have a brother-in-law who has a sister that was vaccine injured, and yet they're still, I believe that they went through the normal COVID protocol. But it's hard because I think a lot of us that are aware of certain things, we just want people to at least look at other perspectives before they just make, drastic, you can't unvaccinate yourself. I mean, there's things that people can do to get rid of some of that stuff.
I hope so.
And there are products out there, and I mean, we actually have some on our link tree that we promote, but like, you can't go backwards, like, especially in the Seattle area and other liberal type cities where these kids have been taking hormones, they've been doing surgeries. It's one thing if you're a kid and you have a certain haircut or dye your hair or get a tattoo or whatever. But I think that's the thing. I think so many of us in this movement our focus is children, because we want them to have a great life and to not have to deal with some of the things that we've dealt with. I mean, so what would you say is your why? Like, what motivates you more than anything else to throw your hat in the ring and be in this fight?
It goes back to the Jetsons, wanting this world to be a better place and knowing it could be a better place. I truly believe in utilizing to the best of my ability my time and my effort and my money. So I'm not going to throw myself somewhere where it's not going to be effective. I will help support people that are interested in, let's say they're like Robert F. Kennedy. I'd be happy to help him whatever way I could to help him be successful. I don't need to be in the front. I don't need to be standing up at a podium. I will, like me speaking here, hopefully I will connect and network with people. I help people meet each other and, hold gatherings and events, and I'll go to events. That's what I'm passionate about, helping fan the flame in a good way.
Exactly.
Did that?
Yeah.
Was that a good answer?
Yeah,
for you?
no, that makes sense. And I think, obviously we're going to put your contact info if people want to reach out to you or some kind of social media that you might want to do. But I know that there was some books or there was some other ideas that you wanted to share about what's motivated you locally, whether it's how how builders build, or the materials that they use, or anything you want to go in on that matter before we bring this to a close.
Sure. I'm very curious, and I'm always studying the alternative building arena, like building the way we used to build, because nowadays with these building envelopes with all these synthetic house wraps and things like that, those houses don't breathe. People are getting sick inside of there. Water vapor doesn't escape.
Right.
It creates mold. There's better ways to build, and building more with local materials, timber framing. That's this right here. I mean, those buildings are still standing. There's barns and buildings that are over 100 years old that are still standing. I've been in condo buildings where we've ripped the wall off and the studs are just, you could blow on them and powder falls because they're not even, it's a 10-year-old building.
Wow.
Yeah, here's another one. This is like, how to build a pole barn yourself, which is you could easily live in that. And then using cool insulation like aircrete and hempcrete and styro aircrete out of recycled and repurposed materials. Yeah, I'm definitely up for that. Getting land, getting a group of people together to create something. I'm more of the builder, the equipment operator. There are other people that are better at the agricultural part and stuff like that. So I'd love to meet more people like that and create something. Because, and I was mentioning to you earlier, heading into 2026, astrologically speaking, and also Martin Armstrong, you can check him out at Armstrong Economics. I mean, they all talk about things are probably going to get worse before they get better. And it isn't until 2032 when things will start to get better, but they'll look completely different. And potentially the people will be more in power then. And, kind of dovetailing into something else I wrote down here about Agenda 2030. I mean, Agenda 2030 is, people need to look into that if they don't know what that is, but that's the powers that be, the World Economic Forum, Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, Klaus Schwab, Anal Schwab, whatever you want to call him.
Him and his fancy outfits on the beach.
Yeah. That's the way they want the world to be. And in Seattle, it's the Socialist Agenda 2030. They're putting up all these signs, no right turn on red, at intersections where everybody's turned right before on a red light.
For years.
Yeah. And taking away the lanes and making them bike lanes. I don't see very many people riding bikes in rainy Seattle here.
No.
Taking away the parking spots for and making them bus lanes. A bus goes by every once in a while. Nobody's riding on the bus.
Right.
When you look at how trash the streets are, ironically, coincidentally, all the trash streets are where the buses go. And the people that ride the bus don't pay gas taxes like the cars that do. And they're still not fixing up our friggin' streets. The streets are trashed.
Yeah, I've heard someone say if you want to see where there's money that's being wasted, go to cities where the streets aren't.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. And that's they want this to be a 15-minute city and other 15-minute cities. They want everybody to live in 15-minute cities where everything that you need is within 15 minutes. Your medicine, your food, everything like that. And you won't have a car. You won't own a car. You wouldn't be able to park.
They want you to own nothing and be happy as well.
I'm a contractor that I do construction work, remodel, and stuff like that. People call me and they want me to drive into Seattle to fix their doors or whatever. I can't find any parking in Seattle, or it's costs a bunch of money and I got to walk a half a block with tools or equipment into somebody's condo building. Can't even fit my truck in the parking spots and stuff. It's insane.
No, this is valuable insight.
Yeah.
Like I haven't had to worry about driving a truck into Seattle before, but this is the reality of what it's like.
Yeah. I'm just looking over my list and seeing if there's anything else. Making it more difficult for drivers.
Yeah.
Removing lanes. Yeah.
What do you see?
I would say we need to get some people together to put a little bit of money in a hat. It might be $1, it might be 10 cents or whatever. And we create a website that people can go to collect this money and taggers, the people that tag all the buildings, the viaduct and stuff like that. And they get to take money out of this hat to spray paint the no right turn on red signs or any other worthless ass signs that are out there that the
That's awesome.
Yeah, I mean the taggers. I think we should pay them at least $100 a sign.
Yeah, give them
spray it.
something that's more meaningful. in some
Totally.
ways.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. I mean
Well,
that
I
hits
haven't heard
everybody in the heart, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's a good thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, what do you think? I put a post on the Turning Point USA Washington Facebook page. I think there's like 30,000 people on there.
Wow.
But we can't fit everyone that wants to do a gathering in your house. So where do you see, what do you think about a larger gathering event?
Oh, I think it would be great. I mean, I'd love to do an Anarchapulco type thing here in Seattle,
Right.
and just get a whole bunch.
Wait, say that again. What's it? Because there's a website. Say that.
Anarchapulco.
Anarchapulco, ladies.
So it's an anarchy convention that happens usually it's in Acapulco. However, it's happening in Puerto Vallarta this year in the middle of February. There's a lot of like-minded thinkers in that group. And there's other that sprung out from there. That's where I saw Del Bigtree,
Right.
Howard Lichtman, other great, wonderful people that have, just.
That's a few-day event, right?
Yeah, yeah. And I'm wearing an Ubuntu shirt, trying to represent for Michael Tellinger too, because if we did what Michael Tellinger was talking about, man, we could create some just fantastic and places to live. It'd be like the Jetsons.
Right.
And that's what we're truly capable of. Bringing everybody together to accomplish that.
Right. What would you, so in Seattle of all places, or even if somewhere in Washington State,
Mhm.
what kind of event, because you have a lot of people
Mhm.
that would probably throw their hat in the ring to get behind something that you envision. And I haven't even talked to him that I was going to ask him this question. I wasn't even sure I was going to ask him this question, but what kind of event would you like to see ideally? Like if you could plan a dream event and you have the support to do it. We're just kind of throwing something out here. But what could you see, and what do you think the interest level would be to have something in Washington State like that?
I think it'd be awesome. There was a gathering way in Eastern Washington by Idaho called the Thrivalist Fair. And we talked about agricultural and farming and cool rocket stoves and, first aid, survival stuff, all kinds of stuff like that. Something like that would be great here, like the Anarchapulco.
Right.
And bringing in people from all like-minded people that
Right.
think that, and that know that we've been lied to all of our lives.
Absolutely.
And help people. Every day I pray for the truth to be revealed, for all people to know the truth and have the desire to seek out the truth.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
Is there what it would help to have the right location
Yeah,
for something like
yeah,
that.
yeah.
And not that I'm asking you to reveal what that is quite yet, even if you do know or don't know, but is there a place, is there something in mind where you could see something like that?
Oh yeah, I think it would be great. I mean, I haven't planned that yet or
Right.
found a place, but I would definitely be involved in that. That would be great to get that going.
Right. Would that be something that you could use some help with?
Sure. Oh yeah.
So
Anybody.
Okay,
Yeah.
so what could people do to be part of what, the vision you have, and how can they get involved and how can they help? Because by helping you, they're helping themselves and each other.
Mhm,
So I wanted to start with
Yeah.
you because you've really created something here.
mhm.
So I guess I saw something as like this moldable piece of clay, and I just thought, why not use my platform?
Awesome.
And I think we're going to meet some great people
Yeah,
from
that'd
this.
be great.
I
That'd
don't
be
know
really
what's
great.
going to happen from
Yeah.
this, but you never know the ripple effect till you throw
Yeah.
the rock in the water. Right?
Totally. And I sit here, and you know what the view is like here where I live. And I just rent this little house. It's a humble bachelor pad, and I look out there across the water towards Vashon Island, the Olympic Mountains, and I think, what a beautiful place this is. The only thing that is an issue is this crazy psychological parasitic poison that is polluting this beautiful place, because this is a beautiful place.
It is.
And
It's incredible.
It's goes back to mass psychosis and a killing of the mind. And whatever I can do to help us win,
Right.
And if people want to help me, I mean, they could email me. I don't know. You want to include my email
Yeah,
address in there?
you,
You want
I
to say
do,
it
but
out loud?
you got to want to. Yeah,
Yeah,
I
I'll do
can
that.
put it up too. But how do people throw their
That's
hat in the ring to
probably
help
the
you?
best way.
Yeah.
My email address is vicsglobal@gmail.com.
Okay.
And that's VIC like Vic, and then an S is in Sierra, and then the word global, GLOBAL @gmail.com. And let's see what we can create. I think it'd be super cool because people don't expect that to come out of Seattle.
No, and I think that's what if we team up with people like you and I and others that you know are motivated to make it happen. I mean, it's amazing what can happen when humans are on the same page and unite and lock arms with each other. Is there anywhere else that people can either find you on social media that you care to disclose or?
I mean, I'm on Facebook. It's Victor Mueller.
Okay. How do you spell your last name?
Mueller. Yeah.
Okay. Perfect.
Yeah. I have Instagram. I don't really do Instagram.
Right.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's great because that way they have their email, your email and your Facebook, and they can follow certain things that you're up to. And this show is called Truth Stream, and we have a link tree, and I'll put all that up. But I don't know. The interviews we've done are amazing. I've interviewed a lot of phenomenal people, I want to make a difference in my own backyard, and it's meeting people like Victor how that's going to happen. So
yeah, that's super awesome.
Anything else you want to say in closing?
Let's win. Let's the good people win. I pray for truth and good people and good to prevail on this earth.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
It's been an honor having you on the show.
Thank you.
All right, brother.
Likewise. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Take care.
Yeah.
All right. We'll see you guys soon. That was awesome, man.
Excellent.
I might get a shot off the deck.
Be cool.
Yeah, because we got to at this point.
Too bad it's cloudy and
yeah. But you know, at least get a little shot off the deck here.
Yeah. I don't know if you're still recording the audio.
I am. It's on. Oh wait, I paused it, but it's okay. It's mainly the visual. Well, this is recording audio, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I think it is.
Yeah, there he is.
There it is.
Awesome, man.
I have known for some time something about the world ain't right. A darkness lives in plain sight. In the ether, adjust your eyes. There are those that have no clue. You give them hints, they just stare at you. Most have lived in Plato's cave, watching